Okay, so the 20th problem in the Leet code is to check if the parenthesis string is valid or not. So what it means is we will be given a string which will contain only these characters, okay, and we'll have to see if those parenthesis string is valid or not. Okay, how do we check it? Like basically, to just before starting this, right, to make sure that if the parentheses are valid or not, we should be knowing this basically. So let's say that this we have this small bracket, okay, this is a valid one, okay, and let's say that we open this and we close this is also valid, and we opened a angular bracket and we closed it, this is also valid one, okay, and let's say that if I open small bracket and try to close it with this angular bracket, it's not a valid one, right, it's not correct. And similarly, if whatever the angular bracket we open, it should be closed by this, correct. And also this is one condition we need to be making sure. And the second thing is, let's say that there can be n number of consecutive open brackets, right. Let's say that I can open this, I can open this, and I can again open this, or I can again open the similar one. But the thing we need to make sure is whatever the last open bracket, right, it should be closed first before actually closing anything that is preceding one, right. We need to make sure that we close the whatever the recently opened one. So it should be valid one would be like this, and we'll be closing the angular bracket, and we then will be closing the curly one and the small parenthesis, okay. This is the valid, this is the valid condition. Let's say that if there is a, we'll go with the same example, okay, and we have something like this, poor writing style. Okay, so now let's say that, okay, we'll close the early bracket, okay, and whatever the recent one was, this we'll close this. But instead of closing with a small parenthesis, let's say that I use this and then I proceed closing the rest of this, right. It's a, as we know, we didn't close this anywhere, right, that's an invalid one. This is a all this string is an, it becomes an invalid now. Okay, this is what we need to identify now, okay. So how are we going to do it? Okay, so we can make use of a stack here basically. So what we'll do is, we'll, whenever we encounter any parenthesis, right, we'll put it in a stack. Okay, we'll put it in a stack, and we'll put it like, I mean, we'll push this into a, like, I mean, basically it will be a stack will be like this, right. We'll whatever, whenever we encounter, we'll put that in a stack. This is the when you received, and then curly bracket, and then angular bracket, okay, and then again the small parenthesis one, and we reached this point also, right. We got the curly parenthesis again, okay. And now once we encounter any closing bracket, we need to check whatever the stack means. We will be getting the, will be, when we pop it, we get the recently inserted one, right. It's like last in first out, correct. So whatever the that was lastly inserted, it will be popped, okay. We will be checking if that is a valid match or not. We encountered this close parenthesis, we'll pop a last element from the stack and we compare. Okay, we'll compare. Okay, this is the valid one, this is the valid closing statement, valid closing parenthesis, we are good. Okay, and then we'll start continuing iterating through the string, okay. And let's say that we encounter any again the closed one, we'll pop it again and we'll check if it is a matching one. If it is yes, then we will be proceeding. If anywhere we encounter that we pop something here, and whatever the closing bracket we encountered currently is not matching one, right. So we can just say that it's not a valid parenthesis string, okay. Now let's just take the same example here. So we'll insert this, we'll insert this, we'll insert this, we'll insert this, we'll insert this. And when we come here, close the parenthesis, we'll pop this out, we'll check this is a valid one, correct? This is a valid one. And when we go to the next closing bracket, we'll pop this out. This is a small parenthesis, okay? This is a small parenthesis. When we do the matching, it will not be a match, right? This is a small parenthesis, this is an angular bracket, right? It won't be a match. So in that case, we will be returning as a false. So we're now coming back to the code, right? The code looks like this. I've made a mapping, like, I mean, what is the opening bracket and closing brackets mapping, okay, to just to help in the while writing the code here. So okay, we'll create our own stack. We'll make use of a list to build a stack here, stack like functionality. Okay, this is a stack empty, it is empty now. And we'll iterate through the string, and wherever, let's say that we don't encounter closing bracket, okay. Let's say that when we start the string, let's say that we will start with anything, okay. Let's say that we'll start encounter something other than the closing bracket, it's an open bracket, we'll just push it to the stack, okay. We'll push it to the stack. And once we encountered any character which is in this, it means if we encounter any closing string, right, we will check. First we'll check if there is anything in the stack or not, right? Let's say that I will add this itself as a first character in the string, like it meaning like I will open the closing bracket itself during the string starting. That's an incorrect, right? So that's what we'll have to check. If the stack is there, stack is not empty, okay, we'll check if the stack, if it is a we encountered an end bracket but there is nothing in the stack, it means it's an incorrect configuration, we'll be returning it as a false. Okay, and let's say that we have something in the stack, okay, and we will be popping the element from it. When the we, as we know, when we pop, we'll get an element, whatever the element is popped, right, we'll get that element. So whatever the that element, and we'll check the mapping for this. Let's say that for the example this one, right, we added this to the stack and then we encountered a closing tag. Now that will read the mapping here, the mapping is this. We'll do the comparison for this and the whatever that was inside in the stack. If it is equal, then we are good, we can proceed with the next one. But if it is not equal, we can break the loop there and we can say that it's not a correct one, we'll return the false. Okay, and at the end, let's say that we did all this thing, okay, and we'll have to return the final result, right? We need to make sure that, let's say that if there are still some elements that are not closed, okay, like everything is done, okay, we are at the end of the string, but still some parentheses are left open, right? It means that like we have some elements left in the stack. In that case, we'll have to return it as a false. So that's why we're saying it as not stack. If it is empty, if it is empty, right, that's a good one, right? It will be false and we'll be returning as a true. If it is not empty, we'll be returning it as a false. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.